I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your big homie, the armchair operator. And today I'm going to bring y'all a top 5 video. My first top 5 video, actually. So, as you know, we're coming into the end of 2023, about to go into 2024. And I sat back and I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to go through every gun that I've purchased so far in 2023, and I'm gonna pick out my top 5 favorites for y'all. And I'm gonna throw a couple honorable mentions in there too that didn't quite make it on the top 5 list, only because I simply ran out of room, but they're all great purchases in their own right, so I want to include them in there as well. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get started in that, first and foremost, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays from my family to yours. I hope you all are having a great holiday season, a safe holiday season, and I wish every single one of you a excellent, great start to 2024 filled with love, safety, peace, and prosperity from here on out. All right. And the second thing is, thank you to all of my subscribers for supporting the channel. It is truly through y'all that really helps to keep me in the game. You know, honestly, sometimes I might be sitting back and thinking like, I don't know if I could really cut out to do this, especially like now that in this super crowded, you know, YouTube, GunTuber space, whatever the case may be. But, you know, you all really help to keep me in the game and to really keep me wanting to produce great content for y'all. So thank you so much for that. So with all of that out of the way, let's dive into this top 5. And like I said, we're going to start from number 5 and work our way up to number 1. So here's number 5. All right, y'all. So for number 5, we're going to go big. Number 5, we're going to talk about the Mossberg 590A1. First things first, we got to verify that the gun is clear. It is clear. Chamber is clear. And we are good to go. So let's talk about this particular shotgun in general and why it made it onto the top 5 list. So if you don't know, one thing I do love, I love a good pump action shotgun. I've always loved shotguns. And the Mossberg brand is something that I am very familiar with. My very first shotgun was a Mossberg 500 20-inch, as a matter of fact. That was my first one. I've had that for a long time. And coming in this year, it was just funny because that was the only pump action shotgun I had, like literally. So I was like, you know what? I want to step it up a notch. I want to get something that I could take it into the trenches, like the literal trenches. If trench warfare was about to start up once again for whatever reason, this is the shotgun that I would want, the Mossberg 590A1. So let me just go over the specs really quick. By the way, each one of these firearms that I'm going to introduce in this top 5 have reviews already on the channel. So definitely check them out if you want a more in-depth analysis of each particular gun. This is just going to be a quick overview of each one. So check out those reviews. But anyway, let's start off. First things first, this has a nice Parkerized finish, you know, a nice aggressive finish. Definitely something that is robust and is just meant for harsher environments. So now for this particular shotgun, they do have a marine coat finish, which honestly I really like. So if I do end up getting another 590A1 or another 590 down the road, which is in the realm of possibility, honestly, I'm going to get the marine coat finish simply because I like the look of the marine coat. It's just sexy to me. But anyway, this particular one is a 20-inch. And it is a 9-shot, so you got 8 in the tube, 1 in the chamber. And now if we're talking 2 3/4-inch buckshot. So this particular one takes the 2 3/4-inch shells and also takes the 3-inch Magnum shells. This is not the S model. The S model is the one that takes the 1 3/4-inch mini shells. I purposely didn't go for the 590S model. Main reason was because honestly, I wanted the A1 model. I wanted the one that the U.S. Armed Forces actually use. That's part of the reason. The other reason is, in my encounters, I really don't see the mini shells all that often in my particular area. So, and I have basically 2 3/4-inch and 3-inch shells anyway. So it was just kind of like, what's the point? But that's just my opinion. So that's the reason why I went for this one. The other reason why I went for this one are the sights. So for this one has the ghost ring sight. So if you can see, you got the aperture sight in the back, and then we got the blade sight in the front. Now there are different configurations of the 590 A1s that have like a fiber optic front sight, or some models don't have the Picatinny rail up at the top, so they just have like the rear sight cover. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen that. They just have the aperture sight in the back and they have the rear sight cover. So yeah, so like I was saying, some models don't have the Picatinny rail up top. They just have the rear aperture sight, and they have like the protective covers along the side just to protect it. But I wanted the one with the Picatinny rail because I wanted to be able to have the option to put a red dot on this at some point, which I do plan on doing. But the good thing about even the other models that don't have the Picatinny rail installed, the upper receiver is already drilled and tapped for the factory, so you can add a Picatinny rail down the road if you choose to, which is basically what I did with my Mossberg 500. Let's see what else we got. Of course, we have the 590 features, like, you know, you got the metal trigger group here and the metal tang safety up here. So that's, you know, an upgrade over the 500. Now this particular one has just your standard M-LOK forend, and I just have rail panels installed just to give me a little extra gripping surface when I activate the pump action. That is until I get some lights. I will be putting a light on this, and I might even go angle foregrip on this guy too. So I'm not really sure, because honestly I want to put the Magpul furniture on this, so I may end up changing the forend and the buttstock down the road anyway. So that's kind of the reason why it's plain Jane for right now. Also, we got that bayonet lug in the front. Now there are some models that actually do come with the bayonet, but I chose not to go for that. But if I wanted to, I could always get a bayonet down the road and install it, because there's the lug right there. And of course, you got your front sling stud on top of the magazine end cap right there. So, you know, oh, and also this has the speed feed stock, so you could put 2 additional shells on this side, and you can put 2 additional shells on that side if you want to carry additional shells on the gun. Now, I do plan on kitting this particular shotgun out with a weapon light and also a couple of STAC side carriers, similar to how my other shotguns are already staged. So, but that's going to be something down the road. But anyway, I really like this shotgun. It's very reliable. The heavy walled barrel really absorbs a lot of the recoil, especially when you're shooting Magnum loads or full power rifle slugs. It does give it a bit of an extra weight, but it absorbs the recoil more than the 500. So that's also cool. And also it absorbs heat better because it's more material, so it's not going to heat up as fast. So, but anyway, that's pretty much it for my number 5. Let's move on to number 4. All right, so for number 4, we got the FN 545 chambered in 45 ACP. Let's verify that this particular gun is clear, which it is. As you can see, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine. This gun is clear. So the FN 545. So this particular gun was something that I was really excited to get my hands on, especially when I first saw it. So this is actually one of the earliest guns that I reviewed on the channel. Now, at the time when I bought this, I had the FNX 45 Tactical. I love that gun. I still love it to this day. I don't have it anymore, but I still love that gun. But the main reason why I wanted the FN 545 was that, you know, this is FN's updated 45 ACP. Like, so I had to get this and run it up against the FNX 45 Tactical. So I did a versus video on both of those guns, of putting these two together in a comparison. It was my first versus video, so if y'all want a more detailed analysis of the guns as they relate to one another, check that video out. It's a little bit long-winded, but it's definitely worth it because I went into some detail into both and the differences into both. But the bottom line is the FN 545 is an excellent firearm. It's been very reliable. But one of the things that I really love about this particular gun over the FNX is the ergonomics. So even though like 45s tend to have fat grips, obviously because you got that big old fat boy around the 45 ACP. But what I like about the FN 545, like I don't know if the camera can tell, this grip is really not super thick, but is shaped in a way like when you get my support hand on there and I really drive it home, it's really easy for me to keep the gun on target. Like when I tell you that I am like crazy accurate with this thing, I'm not kidding, especially for a 45. Now, as a disclaimer, I started my handgun journey with a 45. My very first handgun purchase ever, EDC, everything, was an old school Smith & Wesson model 645. So just to put you in mind, like some of my long timers think Don Johnson back at Miami Vice, like that. I think it looks like that. I think that was his gun. But anyway, that's how far back I'm going with it. So 45, me and 45 ACP have a relationship, and we'll always have a relationship, because that's the gun that I would say that I really cut my teeth on as far as pistol shooting goes. But anyway, we got the FNX 545. Right now, I got it rocking the Boulder, the Olight Boulder R Pro weapon light. So this is their, I believe, their 1300 lumen light, the rechargeable one. As you can see, that guy is nice and bright. That's the recharge port there. And this is the one with the laser too. But I'm not going to really show the laser because I know it could be, you know, it's not really good for the eye. But this is one with the light and the laser. And I like this particular gun so much that it is actually one of my home defense nightstand guns. Like, you know, and when you got 18 rounds of 45 ACP, it's like, come on, man. It's like 18 rounds. You get a couple 18 round mags and a 15 round mag. Like, listen, it's on and popping. This right here, this is my quick reaction pistol. So if I can't get to my main long gun, this right here is where I'm going with it. And you know, you got the nice suppressor height night sights in the back, up in the front, as you can see. I don't have an optic yet, but I plan to get one. I really want to put a Trijicon RMR and FDE on this guy. So fingers crossed I'll be able to make that happen in the new year. But right now we're just rocking the iron sights. So, but anyway, that's basically it for my number 4. Let's talk about number 3. All right, y'all, for number 3, I have to bring this one up. We talking 2311 today, baby. We talking the Oracle Arms 2311. So, as always, we're going to verify that the firearm is empty, which it is. Magazine is empty, and we are clear. Now, let's talk about this particular gun. So, this one is, it was something that I didn't plan to buy this particular gun, and I didn't really learn about its existence until maybe earlier this year as I was watching the SHOT Show coverage. I forget exactly who covered this at SHOT Show. It might have been Classic Firearms or somebody, I don't even remember, but I saw it and it was interesting to me, but I didn't really pay attention to it. Fast forward until October of this year, right? And my local FFL, shout out to Bunker Gun Shop once again, when they posted that they would be offering these particular pistols for sale. And I saw it, and there really wasn't a lot of people online talking about this particular gun, and that was like the biggest reason why I got it, you know, because of the fact that it's a gun it's basically a 2011 style gun that runs off of SIG P320 magazines, hence the moniker 2311. And it was just interesting to me from that particular standpoint. Now, by that point, I already had my Staccato, so I've had some experience with the double stack 1911, 2011 style magazines. And Staccatos make some of the best magazines in that space in the game. So, but I have heard stories about the reliability of those magazines, and the main reason for that is the 1911, and by extension the 2011, was originally designed designed around the 45 ACP cartridge. So when you're putting a smaller bullet basically in that same space that was originally designed to accommodate the 45, there are different things that you got to change. You got to change the actual the follower, the spring, and everything. So for some of the earlier magazines, there were reliability issues. But the other thing about that also is that those magazines are pretty expensive. Like even Staccato magazines, the 17 rounders are somewhere in the neighborhood of like $80 or something like that, and the 20 rounders are even more expensive. And that even the Atlas Gunworks magazines are expensive too. But when you're talking about a gun that can operate in the 2011 space but take SIG P320 magazines that are readily available and way cheaper than any of the Staccatos or the other style of 2011 magazines, you got something that's very interesting. And you know, granted, we have the Stealth Arms Platypus, which takes Glock mags, which are arguably more plentiful and cheaper than the SIG P320 magazines, but the SIG P320 magazines are good magazines too. So let's talk about this particular gun. So like I said, I do have a full review on this pistol. And you know, if you want some more details about it, definitely check that video out. And I'm also going to be doing a 2,000 round update video, which I'm currently working on right now. But just to bring you all up to speed, as far as the shootability goes, it's a great shooting gun. It's a flat shooter. I haven't had any failures, any stoppages, malfunctions, any of that. I haven't had any of that. And I probably have about 1,300 rounds in on this gun as of the recording of this video in December of 2023. And it's been reliable for me from that standpoint. Now, it hasn't been perfect because there has been a few issues here and there, more so with the internals of the gun in terms of like the trigger bow and some of the spring assemblies on the inside. So, and also, I don't know if you saw my verse between this and the Staccato, my front sight actually fell off. But now one thing I will say, now here's a caveat. This particular gun is an early example of the 2311. Now, this particular gun was literally the 5th pistol that they ever made, and I didn't know that. But if you look at the serial number, it's actually 105. It's just like, you know, it's the 5th one they ever made. So, and it's also a first generation gun. Now, I definitely got to give a shout out to the team over at Oracle Arms, because throughout my testing and the different issues that I've had, their customer service is beyond A1. Like if we had a grading scale and A+ was the top, I would give them an S, because the level of customer service that I have received from Oracle Arms, I've never experienced with any company in any space ever. Like, they have been really great. But back to the pistol. So this pistol is a flat shooter. What really helps that are the ledges here, and you have it on both sides. Now, that also being said, this is a virtually fully ambi gun. Now, tell me what 2011 you know of that is fully ambi out of the box. Like, the only thing that's not ambidextrous in this gun is the magazine release. But since this is an actual 320 magazine release, this magazine release is reversible, so you can swap sides if you want. But this is a fully ambi 2011. Like, you don't see that anywhere. I like the fact that they have the oversized safeties on here. Now, some people may not like that, but the good thing about it is you could always replace these with the standard safeties that you would see on other 2011s. And the compact version of this doesn't, they have the standard safeties. They don't have the extended ones like this one has. So you definitely have that option if you have this gun and you want to swap it out. But I like it because it's easier for me to ride the safety whenever I draw. So the thing about this gun that I really like is that you have extra points of contact. Like, I have this particular point of contact here, and I also have that ledge. So I could really like get in and go here. Like, it's just points so naturally for me. Like, it's crazy. So the trigger is actually really good. So this particular trigger shoot is aluminum. Now, let me just show you this trigger real quick. Now watch this, watch this. Let me ghost that for you real quick. That's the drop, right? And watch that reset. That's crazy. That's it. And like what I also like about it is like there is no creep, virtually no creep. Like it's a little bit of creep in that trigger, but not really. But if you push it hard enough, boom, it's dropping. Like so. The point is the follow-up shots, even out of a full-size 5-inch barrel gun, they're really quick, and I really like that. The return to zero is actually really good. So, but anyway, I got this decked out with my Holosun HS407 CX2 with the solar strip on the top, and we're rocking the Streamlight TRL1 weapon light. This is their 1,000 lumen light, and I actually like, so far since I got this gun back, it's been 100% reliable, and I have several hundred rounds through the gun so far. I mean, it is actually at the point where I trust this to be a nightstand gun for me, which it is currently serving in. So, but anyway, this is my number 3, the Oracle Arms 2311 full size. Let's move on to our number 2. All right, y'all, for el número dos, we're going to go back to the long guns, and we're going to talk about the Geissele Super Duty. So this is actually one of my most recent purchases, my most recent AR purchases. And first, let's verify that this thing is empty. As you can see, it's empty in there, right? And the magazine is empty, and we are clear. Ooh, you gotta love that sound. That's the sound of freedom, baby. So anyway, back to the Geissele. So the Geissele Super Duty. This is the 16-inch version. And this is the version with the Surefire muzzle device on the end. And first and foremost, what I love about this gun, the absolute most, is the finish. I love this burnt bronze FDE style finish here. This thing is sexy, I'm gonna tell you right now. Plus, we rocking the B5 system SOP mod stock on the back, and y'all know I had to go with the FDE magazine. I actually have another FDE magazine. I'll be having more FDE magazines to kind of color match, but that's not to say that I will only use FDE magazines. But I just like the look of it, right? So, all right. So anyway, back to the gun. So I recently did a review on this gun, so I won't go into too much detail. But what I like about the gun is that, you know, we got that 16-inch barrel. We got a nice, solid M-LOK 4 in here. I really like the lockup of this M-LOK section, this M-LOK rail. It's a fully free-floated handguard. Like I said, 15 inches. We have built-in steel reinforced QD points on both sides of the handguard. So that's already there, right there, right there. And then you got that little notch cutout right there between the handguard and the upper receiver, and that just gives it that extra bit of rigidity. So this handguard isn't going anywhere. I'm telling you, it really isn't going anywhere. Now, I have heard stories about the reliability of some of the earlier Super Duties in this line, but they have since corrected that as far as I know. And me personally, I haven't had any issues with my Super Duty since I got it. I got a few hundred rounds in now, so I haven't had any problems with it, and I don't anticipate any problems just by the way this thing is run, by the way that it runs. Excuse me. We have an ambidextrous charging handle right here. This is Geissele's airborne charging handle. So if you notice, you'll notice that these ears are a little bit shorter than their standard ambi charging handles. But the charging handle is fully ambi, which is really cool. Right now, I have it rocking 3rd generation mag pull flip-up sights up in the front there. And as far as the red dot, now this red dot, I don't know, a lot of people may not know about this manufacturer. This is from a company called Sealy. This is actually the Sealy T3. It's basically like a budget red dot that you can pretty much find on Amazon. And my idea was, I was just going to test it out. I want to give some other optics manufacturers a chance, you know, just to run to see if they're really up to snuff. Now, because it's a budget optic, like most people will say, oh, well, you know, it's cheap, it's garbage, it's not going to hold up, whatever the case may be. But that may not necessarily be the case, because some people were saying that about Holosuns at one point in time. And Holosun is one of the best, I would say, competitively priced optics manufacturers out there. Like, they make some good stuff. So you can't always say that just because something is cheap is not going to work. Just because something is expensive doesn't mean it's never going to fail. Like, these are machines at the end of the day, and all machines will have a problem at some point. But anyway, that's the Sealy T3. It's still currently under testing, and I'm going to do a review on that particular optic at some point in the very near future. Now, I also changed the furniture a little bit. I don't know if you can see, but right now we're rocking that Magpul K2 XL grip. I love the K2 XL grip because I got these great big old paws here, so it just fits my hand very well. And I also have this grip on my FN Scar, so that's why I like this. And we got the Magpul NVG M-Lock vertical grip. I kind of prefer a vertical grip over the angle 4 grip for a rifle, just because under high volume of fire, when this barrel and this M-Lock handguard gets hot, I can take my hand off of the handguard and put it in beer can this guy if I need to continue firing. Now, one thing that's different here, we have another weapon. Like, this is the nightstick, I believe the LGL 160. So when I did my review, I actually had a Streamlight Protec up here, and I was having some issues with that Streamlight out of the box. So I ended up taking it back to where I got it from. And I was going to get another Streamlight, but they didn't have the Protec that I had, so to do the even exchange. So the guy suggested, why don't I try this nightstick out? And when I looked at it, it was looking pretty interesting. You know, it's a powerful weapon light, you know, so I figured I'd give it a play, you know. So I got it mounted on here, and so far it's pretty good. But one thing, I'm going to do a review on this light, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but just for the sake of argument, it's a 1000 lumen light. It's really bright, as you can see right there. And plus, it comes with its own cable management device, and you got the pressure pad up here with the Picatinny rail. And as you can see, I already got that mounted up really good. So definitely keep a lookout for the review on that. But all in all, oh, and we got that Geisley trigger. You can't go wrong with that Geisley trigger. So let me just show y'all real quick. You know, I gotta show it off. You see it right there? That's it. And then the reset, crazy. Y'all know about that Geisley trigger. But anyway, that's it for my number 2. We're going to talk about a couple quick honorable mentions before I introduce my number 1. So for my first honorable mention, I want to talk about this guy, my Canic Rival steel frame. So we're going to verify. We're clear. Boom, clear. Awesome. All right, cool. Canic Rival S. So, Canic makes great guns. We all know how great Canics are. And even now in late December of 2023, this gun is still kind of hard to find. So I was able to get this at a gun show earlier this year. And I can tell you right now, I'm never letting this thing go. This is a great shooting gun. It was kind of hard not to put it on the list because I really like this pistol so much. But like I said, I just didn't have the room for it. So it had to sit this one out. But this is my Canic Rival S. Chambered in 9 mic. 20 round Canic magazine. Beautiful gun. Now for my next honorable mention, we got to talk about the Springfield Echelon. We're going to verify that that's clear. As you can see there, boom. So this is another one that was not planned. I just saw the reviews and like a lot of different people talking about it in July, and I wanted to get it to try it out for myself, and I did. And this particular gun has become one of my favorites. I love this gun. I have well over 1,000 rounds in this gun, and I do not have any issues, any failures of any kind whatsoever. Now, I actually had to take it up a notch because I wanted to get the larger grip module with the more aggressive grip. And I gotta say, since I did that, this is a literal game changer for me. Like, the other grip module felt good in the hand, but this is just crazy. And then like you got all the different thumb ledges and the texture and everything else. Like, this gun is crazy. But anyway, this is one of my, I would say one of my sleepers. Definitely one of the surprises for me. One of my favorites, so I had to put it on my honorable mention list. We have the Springfield Army Echelon, rocking the Sealy Wolf 2 Red Dot, and my Surefire X300 Ultra. So, and for my last, but certainly not least honorable mention, we got the Big Mahoff. We got the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. As you can see, this gun is empty. So 500 Magnum. I always wanted a 500 Magnum. I always wanted it. I think I first saw a 500 Magnum picture way back in like 2004, even before I bought my first gun. And I saw it next to a Smith & Wesson model, I think it was a 629, 6-inch 44 Magnum. And just to see how this dwarfed the 44 Magnum, I was in love. I always wanted it. So I finally got a chance to get my hands on one, and this thing is a beast. It is fun to shoot, but the ammunition is crazy expensive, so definitely not going to be something that you'll see me shooting on the range a whole lot. However, I do have some 700 grain hard cast and some 600 grain hard cast Kentucky ballistic loads that I picked up at the last gun show that I went to, so y'all will be seeing that on the channel real soon. But anyway, for my last honorable mention, my Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. And now that we got all that out of the way, let's take a look at the top dog, number one. Okay, for number one, the top dog, el número uno, top purchase for 2023. That distinction goes to my Staccato P. First of all, it's a Staccato. How can I not put this as my number one? Right? First, verify that this gun is clear, and we are good to go. So let's talk about it. Staccato P. So this particular gun, I won't say that this is a dream gun, but this is one of those guns that honestly I never thought that I would own, just based off of the price point alone. But I was blessed to be able to buy this particular gun actually for a birthday gift for myself this year, and I have been very, very happy with this gun. This is just the basic standard Staccato P, you know, no DLC code. It's got the stainless steel bull barrel, you know, the standard grip module and all that, and this thing is fun to shoot. It's funny because I was actually looking at this particular gun before filming this video, and I'm saying to myself, I gotta pull it out of the safe and run it again. Now, granted, I have over 1,000 rounds in this gun that has been bomb-proof, reliable throughout, so we're just going to get that out of the way. But I really haven't had a chance to run it a whole lot because I have reviews and different things that I have to do on other guns. So, but I will be pulling this particular gun out and running it very soon. But this particular gun is like, I basically call it like the Glock of the 2011 world. And why I call it that is, it's a very reliable 2011. It's a very reliable gun, period. I mean, honestly. But it's also that gun that a lot of people use as like a basis for comparison. Whether you're talking about, you know, your more expensive custom 2011 style guns, or you're talking about your lower cost, more budget-minded guns. This particular gun is kind of like in the middle, like lower range, honestly, when you're talking about the price point. This particular gun came in at about $24.99 MSRP. So now, don't get me wrong, $2,500 is a lot of money, but when you're talking about something like a Nighthawk Custom or an Atlas, which are like 5,000 and up, and we're not even going to discuss like even more custom guns like a Terran Tactical or a Cabot or something like that, where it's just astronomical price wise, this gun actually is very, very cheap compared to those offers. Like I said, it's all relative, right? But this gun, like, there's not a lot of good things. I won't say a lot. There's a lot of good things that I can say about this gun. Like from the Dawson Precision sights up here, you know, that fiber optic sight, the ergonomics. Now, because I have larger hands, I always say this, you know, the 2011 style grip just fits me like a glove, you know, and then plus with the ambidextrous safeties, I could really like ride that safety and just get in, you know, drive it home. It has a nice large memory pad, so I don't have to worry about, you know, I don't have to worry about the safety coming off or whatever while I'm actually gripping the gun, anything like that, you know. Solid magazines. It's the 17 rounder. It comes with two 17 rounders and a 20 rounder. Oh, let's talk about the trigger real quick. So this particular gun, hands down, has the best trigger out of all of my pistols. I'm just going to say that from the rip, and this is the reason why. Now watch. Look at that. That's the break, and then that reset. The thing I like about this trigger is that even though it has a little bit of travel, it has such a soft, smooth break and a real crisp reset. Like, the accuracy of this thing is just crazy, especially when you combine that with a 4.4 inch, you know, stainless steel bull barrel, and with this slide, it just, man, it just runs. So I love this gun, and it's very easy to see why that this is my top purchase of 2023. So, but then anyway, that's pretty much it for my list. Thank you for taking the time to sit with me as I go through my top 5 purchases of 2023. I look forward to creating some more great content for you all coming up in 2024. I have some great ideas in the pipeline and things that I'm actively working on. So definitely subscribe to the channel because you do not want to miss out on that. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, please let me know by liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Hit that bell icon so that way you can be notified whenever I drop new content. Share this video with all your friends, whatever the case may be. I definitely appreciate each and every single one of you for the support that you have given me. And now I'm going to close it out. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. This is your big homie, and I am out. Peace.